Okay everyone, so we've been through your bucket by this point. We've discussed how that works. We've talked about the inflows, outflows, the taps, and we've talked about the 3 stages and also why those taps are so important and how we need to get clear on what they should look like to keep us sane and to keep us interested. You know, life's not a rehearsal, as I always say. The next thing I want to look at is a solid foundation block that we place all of this planning on. Too many people with young families in particular that buy their catastrophe protection solutions from a comparison website. And when I say catastrophe, I'm talking about premature death or premature illness, which can rock the family unit terribly for obvious reasons, not only tragic in terms of the personal effect, but also the financial consequences. And as I say, particularly for those with young families or dependents, people who are financially dependent on them. So rather than buy life insurance and serious illness cover from a comparison website or just plucking a number out of the air, whether that's £100,000 or £200,000 worth of cover, would it not be better to base it on what's going on here? For example, if we decide that your ideal lifestyle tap should be delivering, you know, £50,000 a year or £100,000 a year or £200,000 a year, whatever these taps should be delivering for you, would it not make more sense to base whatever protection that you're sitting underneath your plan on those taps, on those lifestyle expenditure taps? In the risk management elements of this program, let's just sit our whole financial plan on a proper foundation. And if these numbers suggest that you need £50,000, for example, I would suggest that as a minimum starting point, you should have 10 times that amount, £500,000 in backup cover. If you have mortgages or other borrowings, they should be bolted onto that number. And the other dynamic to think about is children. If you have children who are still dependent on you, you should also be taking a view on how many years longer they will be dependent. And if your child, for example, is 11 today, I would say it wouldn't be far off or a bad call to think about them being dependent for at least another 10 years. So that would be a 10-year cover. Personally for me, and there's no right or wrong answer, but I would want 10 times my desired level of income. So that would be 500,000 if it was a £50,000 a year tap. I would also want the same again if my child had 10 years of dependency, so that would take me up to £1 million. And I would also want my mortgage or any other unsecured borrowings, secured borrowings paid off. And if they were, say for example, £250,000, I'd be at 500 plus 500 and 250. So to use that as an example, if the tap was 50,000, and we'll put that there, I would want 500 for that. I would want another 500 because I have children who are dependent for at least another 10 years, which would give me another 50 on top per year. And then I would want the mortgage or other debts paid too. In total, that would give me a protective platform of 1,250,000. And rather than just buy a silly policy from a comparison website, I would then have effectively in a locked vault, there's a safe, I'm drawing a safe there too. It's effectively the same as locking £1.25 million in that safe. If I was to die, disappear, it would be paid out. And if I was to become ill, and I always draw an ambulance there, as you can see, it would also provide the same £1 million. £1.2 million, I should say. So it's about having a protective platform upon which this whole financial plan consists, rather than just plucking a number out of the air, which then goes on to do not very much if the catastrophe scenarios we touched on come to fruition, which we hope don't happen but often do. So look at the risk management document now and use the tools in that document to help you plan for your own protective foundation. The comparison website can't help you carve out a financial plan, but we can. Use the tool and protect yourself in the right way.